somewhere for a while, your surroundings become familiar and you really don't see them. That's how it was for me after living at Lone Bobcat Woods for about 8 years. So I decided I wanted to see it afresh. And the best way for me to do that is to draw it. I started in the north corner on November 1st, 1998. Over the course of a year, I created an image of something I saw looking out from each of our windows, moving clockwise with the sun. In my first pictures, I drew everything I saw, whole landscapes with their rich colors, or the light and dark patterns on snow, or the striking colors of lichen in a close-up oak tree. Sometimes I created just what I longed for, like happy spring colors painted on a gray, drizzly day. Soon I began looking ahead to the next window's view to see what caught my eye, what media, what style might capture its character. I started to move in closer, seeing the gesture of just one tree, or the delicate lace of snow on the oak branches. Moving even closer, I began to notice the textures. I started out making textures visually by brushing or dotting colors like the Impressionists to let your eyes mix the color. Then I wanted to actually feel textures with my hands, so I did a rubbing on the pine bark to make the tree trunks. And I tore rough cardboard and other papers to make this collage. We have 37 windows and porch screens, so I made an image nearly every 10 days. Here I used pencil on rough paper to capture the brittle texture of a curling dead leaf. One day I watched the wind dancing in the cedar branches, and it inspired me to capture that energy. So I used a feathery scumble brush to dance on the paper. Late one night, I worked by flashlight while drawing the fuzzy-edged, silvery moonlight in our meadow. Loving all the exuberant spring green colors, I took out a green paper and I drew everything not green. Saddened by my father's death, I asked my inner child, Polly, to draw her view. She drew a yellow sun over our homestead, a little light in the darkness. When I saw the sun setting behind our solar panels, I said, "Aha! The perfect connection, since it's the sun shining on our panels that generates our electricity." The connections became really physical in this plant print. I painted each type of plant and then pressed it onto the paper, all except the poison oak. Fascinated by fall's long shadows, my images became more abstract. Imaginary figures and faces seemed to come alive in the shadowy shapes. One day, I could barely glimpse the view outdoors through my own emotional clutter, which was mirrored in our cluttery mudroom, so I drew just that: electrical cables and a cat litter box. I created a fractal, just like we see everywhere in nature herself, by crumbling the newspaper and brushing its mountaintops with color. We're privileged to live in the middle of 160 acres of forest land near the South Yuba River in the Sierra Nevada mountains. An intimacy grows as you draw. You look outside the window for days trying to see what will capture your imagination for this painting. A little leaf moving in the wind. By the time you sit down to draw, it's no longer an object. It's a friend.